Can malware survive if I reset my PC? A lot of people are actually concerned about this. There are always news stories about exceptional scenarios where malware appears to have survived a reformat, for example, of a machine. Usually there are much more benign or boring explanations for that happening. Technically, it's possible, it's not easy, and for the most part, it's not something you need to worry about. Look into that in a little bit more detail. Can malware survive if I reset my PC? It's possible for malware to be difficult or nearly impossible to remove. It's also extremely rare. I'm Leo Notenboom. This is askleo.com. Thank you to the patrons of AskLeo for making this audio, video, and all of AskLeo possible. askleo.com/patron for more information. Question: can a virus survive Windows 10's reset this PC and remove everything? Technically, yes. Certain types of malware can survive a reset. Pragmatically, though, these types of malware are very rare, especially if you take a couple of additional steps as you remove everything. Persistent, resistant malware. I'll say there are 3 places malware could, in theory, survive the default remove everything option in Windows 10's Reset This PC. Rootkit. A rootkit is a form of malware that takes additional steps to hide its existence from the operating system. This means that when Reset This PC deletes the existing files on the hard disk, or moves them aside into Windows.old, the rootkit could survive to reinfect the resulting clean installation of Windows. Partitions. Malware could install itself, or a copy of itself, into one of the reserved partitions, including the recovery partitions from which Windows will be reinstalled. The fresh copy of Windows could then come with malware. Firmware. Some malware infects the firmware on your machine, such as your BIOS or UEFI. By definition, this is the software that runs on every boot up and manages access to certain hardware. It's not affected by Reset This PC. Everything isn't always everything. If you choose to reset this PC, one of the options you select is how to remove your files. The default is to just remove your files. This is presumably the equivalent of a normal delete. The less secure comment acknowledges that some files could be recovered after the reinstall using data recovery tools. It also means that a rootkit could be overlooked and not deleted. Click on Change Settings to expose an additional option. The warning that data erasure can take hours implies that this option formats the drive, meaning any and all files, including rootkits, on the system partition will be removed prior to the installation. But it's still not really everything. Start with an empty drive. The only way to really make sure that everything on the hard drive is truly removed is to boot from a Windows 10 setup disk and reinstall Windows 10 from scratch. In other words, don't use Reset This PC at all, because it relies on possibly compromised software in those hidden partitions. Even then, there are additional steps to take. You'll be asked what type of installation you want. Choose Customs, which presents a list of partitions on the disk. My recommendation is that you carefully delete each listed partition, click on each in turn and click Delete. Then click on New to create a new partition out of unallocated space. Windows Setup may create more than one partition. Click on each and click on Format to format it into a drive for use by Windows Setup. Then continue to install Windows normally. But even that doesn't cover everything. The firmware dilemma. Malware entrenched in firmware is significantly more difficult to remove. You can try the procedure outlined by your computer's manufacturer to update your UEFI or BIOS, even if you're updating it to the same version that's already installed. Other devices that could be compromised may or may not have similar procedures for updating or replacing their firmware. The problem here is knowing which are installed on your system and whether this is an option for them. There's no easy answer when it comes to firmware. Don't panic. You could easily become very concerned at this point. I'll put it this way. You should never, ever jumped to the conclusion that you have persistent malware that cannot be removed. Never. I hear from people all the time who are absolutely convinced they have malware that cannot be removed, be it in their BIOS, UEFI, or somewhere else. As long as I've been doing this, I have yet to encounter it. Not once. As I said, it's extremely rare. There's always been some other fixable explanation. If you really suspect that this is the case on your machine, take it to a professional for more detailed analysis before throwing in the towel. Just because something is possible doesn't mean it's likely. For links related to this article or to leave a comment, visit askleo.com/119997. I'm Leo Notenboom. This is askleo.com. Thanks for watching.